Hello, I'm Judith Lowe, and this is another one of our Meta-Model practice videos. And the pattern I'm focusing on today is the cause-effect pattern. X makes Y happen. And I can make you learn and practice your Meta-Model. There's three main areas that I'm going to focus on in this video. The first one is the pattern itself in the Meta-Model. The second one is how it shows up in the well-formedness conditions for outcomes. And the third one is the use that we make of it in the Milton model. So the first one, X causes Y. X makes Y happen. Now, this is obviously, we're making up our world. This is part of how language structures and organizes our reality, that we think of things as being at cause or at effect, that things are making other things happen. The key thing for this, I think, is when you're using this pattern in your own language or someone else's, particularly as it affects your own emotional or behavioral choices. In other words, you made me angry, you made me do that, she made them lose their way, you know, they forced us to be more like X or Y. This is when it becomes a kind of problem structure. In fact, anytime you think of yourself as a victim of somebody, or where you have no choice, or you're reaching instantly for a kind of blame, is a wonderful, wonderful moment of self-revelation of your own maps, models of the world, choices, the way you've organized your reality. It's a key moment to wake up and realize that you're bumping up against a choiceless, resourceless version of yourself, which you can change. So they made me angry, you made me do that. I wouldn't have said that if you hadn't said X. We're looking often at kind of anchors and triggers and what are complex equivalences, meaning making in our own model of the world. So the issue for us is to take back our own power, if you like, and start to realize that we could reconfigure the situation to position ourselves and experience ourselves as having more choices. You made me X. Oh, I now realize I've made myself a victim. I've made you responsible for my choices, my behavior, my emotions. How can that be? It's illogical. I'm deleting, distorting, generalizing the whole situation. How can I then start from, how do you know that? How do you know X causes Y? Well, of course, I don't. What you're doing isn't causing my behavior or my emotional reaction. It's my own model of the world that needs updating and transforming. So that's the first one, cause effect. They made me do this. The second one is really how the cause effect fits into the well-formedness conditions. And obviously it's the one, can you initiate and maintain your goal? In other words, can you make it happen? Can you take responsibility for it? Can you sense and experience yourself as resourceful and proactive in terms of owning your own goal? It's just a wonderful thing. It gives you that sense of agency, the self-efficacy belief. I believe I have the capability to make something different, to have new, better choices, to generate an action, take action in the service of my own goals and to make my values come alive in the world. So that's our second part of it, that it's actually having the cause-effect structure set up well in a well-formed outcome is one of the real foundations of making all those conditions fit into place. And the third example of where using cause-effect structure, cause-effect modeling is useful is obviously in its positive, another one in its positive aspect, where you're using it by way of suggestion. You're using it in your Milton model. As you do this, so that will make that more possible. This will, of course, lead to this, and that will then allow and facilitate that. Doing X, learning your language patterns, practicing well-formed outcomes, being aware of when you yourself are using structures in language that limit you in some way or cause you pain in some way. Learning about that will allow you to expand and enrich and transform your world such that you have better choices, more fun, etc., etc., etc. So there's our 3 practice points for the cause-effect structure in the NLP meta-model. They made me do this. There's the signal for change. Well-formedness, I own this goal, I'm going to make it happen, I'm taking responsibility for it, I'm going to initiate and maintain it. It's one of the well-formedness conditions to test in your system for congruence and ecology with a goal. And then the Milton model, suggestion. Well, of course, as you learn this, as you do this, so this can happen. So this can be more possible for you, that you're using it in this kind of virtuous way to build structures, to build a pathway of these ripple out effects of making the kinds of changes, doing the sort of learning that you want to. So I hope you enjoy practicing this. I can make you learn the meta model. Bye-bye.